It's 8 a.m., so I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order on March 24th, 2026, and we will rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll start with an approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the agenda.
And I will second. Any discussion, any amendments?
It's good.
Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, the consent agenda, any discussion?
I don't have anything.
Minutes seem all good,
Yep, I will move to approve the consent agenda.
and I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now, public comment, if anyone here present would like to address the PD Commission, do we have, starting within the room here, Todd, would you?
No, thank you.
Okay. All good, online, any guests, anybody, please raise your hand if you'd like to address us. Looks like none as of now, and I will close public comment and move to our general manager report.
So as soon as we're done here with this meeting, I'm gonna be heading over to Pasco. I'll be there for a couple of days, and if you guys need me, get me on the phone. And it's my last general manager's meeting, all the recruited general managers. Yeah. So there's a few people on the east side that don't know that I'm retiring, so get a chance to loop in with them. The second thing is, you guys may or may not have seen this, but the early weather forecast for this year, especially this winter, is for a super El Nino. And what that means today is that they're not really sure what the heck's gonna happen. A signal this early in the year is notoriously fallible. Once you get to about May, if they say it's gonna be a super El Nino, that means there's a very strong signal, probably an El Nino, whether or not it's a super El Nino. The super El Nino it's characterized by cooler, wetter summers in the southeast of the United States, and it sets up the conditions for a 2001 style heat dome here. Whether or not that happens, the last super El Nino we had did not generate a West Coast heat dome. So, the outcome of those things is a little bit uncertain, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up. There's the possibility that we could have some really, really wild weather late summer and fall and into winter. So that was just a heads up on that. And that's my report.
Just added to the list of crap.
Things to worry about.
Yep. I was telling him, we had talked earlier about the super El Nino, like low snowpack. They're going to be pushing more water through the dams, or still attempting to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be interesting.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Well, something probably to discuss at a future meeting.
Oh, it's just something to flag you guys to keep watching. And
Yeah.
I'll keep watching it as long as I'm here, and by the time June rolls around, we'll know whether it's a real thing or not.
Right, yeah, this is all just, ongoing forecast.
Yep.
Yeah, we may still get some snow, so. Moving to the operations report. Kurt, would you like to?
Yeah, I would like to.
We have a PowerPoint here to draw up,
Apparently I'm in an unsafe network right now.
Oh.
technical challenge. Do we need assistance on that?
There we go. So I just wanted to kind of give you an update on our 90% plans for plant one. I know that Commissioner Bishmani has been asking for an update. And well, there he is now. So. I can delay it for a moment if we would like to. Commissioner down with this. Sorry, right there.
Yeah, also been looking forward to this update. So,
Okay, great.
yeah, thanks for preparing it. And are you good to go? Good to go? Okay.
Okay, so Commissioner Smarty, we're giving you a little update on, the 90% plans that we received, from our engineer consort. And, so this is, what we're getting from consort is a 90% plan set. We received it on, February 27th, and right now we are in the midst of, reviewing it. Staff is reviewing. Right now our schedule is to get the review back to consort by the April 10th. I think it's about 600 pages of drawings and 2,200 pages of specs, so there's quite a bit to go through. So far, we are finding, we feel like there are definitely some challenges with the plan set. We're not sure if we would necessarily characterize this ourselves as a 90%. We feel like it's maybe not quite that far along in the drawing, so in the drawing and the specs and the whole package. So we're looking into that, and we're making, we're trying to make sure that we're doing our due diligence to make sure everything's taken care of. And
How do we define 90%?
typically, I mean, 9% is, you're gonna take a lot of, it's not gonna only be your plan set, it's gonna take in, input from outside agencies. We have to work with, from city, state, county levels for a project this big, and it is in the city of Ferndale, inside the city limits, so they're gonna be one of our first regulatory agencies, and then we're in the county. And then there's gonna be things like SEPA, which is gonna be at a different level, so we have to, the 90% would be defined as having input from a lot of those other entities, which we don't have a lot of.
Okay,
And that's why I'm at this point characterizing it's not, I'm not gonna give it a different number specifically, but because I don't have one to provide, but I myself and the team, we don't necessarily think that we're quite there.
I mean, these numbers, the way I've understood them previously are about, having a situation where in the future, variability in budget and time will not vary.
The variability.
The further along you are, the less future variability. And if you haven't talked to an important permitting agency, certainly they could throw a wrench in the fire, so.
That is
So probably you have to talk to everybody you need to talk to.
it's an accurate representation.
And it's some kind of a pre-permitting, yeah, okay.
The one thing I will add, if I may,
Of course.
the 90% milestones described in the RFP. So we do have, some concrete description on that, which allows us to either, pay or withhold payment for the milestone. Peter, did I characterize that correctly?
I'm just thinking about, I think a big part of it is the permitting process, which you're probably gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And so, because I had a feeling that this might be a little bit small on the screen, I did put up, there's one a little further front in there. Did some hard copy printouts, just in case, you need to be a little bit closer. But, to give you an idea, so this is the overall campus. I don't know if that's technical, that's not a technical term. So over here, we have, the Nookside River, and, hey there. And this is the existing intake on the river. Then there will be a new utility or access building, which will have piping underneath Ferndale Road to that building. And then there will be piping to the main water treatment plant.
So that, the first line is the road,
On the far right.
yeah, the next line is the berm, and then after that is the road.
Well, yes. So this right here with this little rectangle, that is the road.
That's just like, off the print.
Yeah, that doesn't show as much.
Yeah.
And then, so then this is the focus on just the actual treatment plant. This is just a little more zoomed in. And so, we'll have the water will come in from the utility and the intake here. And this would be on the southeast corner, and this is the pre-treatment, and this is where the sand traps are. We're gonna take some of the sandy dirt out. And then get your chemical injection, and then it's the flocculation sedimentation basins, and the water just flows over this way to the high head pump station where it leaves the plant heading north before it heads west.
Kurt, has it ever flooded on that side of the river?
In my experience, I can't say ever, in 2021, when it was really, bad, I mean, we had another bad event recently. But, there was just a little bit of a trickle coming through the levee by the intake building. But, it definitely didn't flood the plant at all. And our waste basins were still out of the waterway. So there was water coming through the levee onto Ferndale Road, and it was kind of meandering over to Shell Ditch, which is on Imhoff and heads west, but
Right.
it didn't really impact the plant.
Whenever I drive by it, I always worry about that, and I don't think I've ever asked, so. Are there like safeties for that, should it flood, or?
Well, like this will be built, the new plant is being built above the 100-year floodplain. And so the idea is you can get it up out of the way of any potential flooding. And so one of the studies that have been done, they looked at, with the levee in place, if there was a major flood, and then the levee basically gone. And then building the new plant to those specs that would still be above the waterway if it was to
Reach the levee.
breach the
Yeah,
levee, exactly.
okay. Great.
So, again, because I figured that a lot of this would be small, at least in this room, this is part of the current schedule that we've received. I mean, I guess I did label it currently proposed schedule, but that is what we have received from the engineer as the current scheduling. But I pulled out some key dates from that, so you have a little bit better design. And again, like I like to point out, these are the dates we're receiving from the engineer right now, and we are in our review of those plans. So, just under a year from now, in March 10th, 2027, we're scheduled to receive the 95%, and that would be incorporating permit requirements. So the idea being that we would receive a lot of the permitting input as we expect to be receiving in the next several months. And then April of 27, 100% design, and then August bid opening, September 17th of 2027 pre-construction, and then September 22nd, 2027 beginning construction.
So it's interesting to me that, just think about the time. To go from 80% to 90% was about a year, was it about a year?
About, yeah.
And then 90 to 95 is another year.
Yeah,
Um,
which would kind of,
it makes sense because it's always the last bit is the hardest work.
I agree,
quite often.
but I think it's gonna take a long time because there was gonna be a lot to be talked down.
Why does the next 5% only take a month?
Because really 95,
Huh?
Let's put in the bid package together.
right,
So like it's that last for 5% in our lingo, and it's really our lingo, it's not math, you know, it's our lingo, it is about dotting the i's, crossing the t's kind of stuff.
Well, and prepping the bid package.
Yeah.
right.
You gotta have that and have the specs nailed down and how you're gonna advertise, who you're gonna invite, you know, all that kind of stuff. You gotta.
And that's a significant amount of work, but there's not ambiguity or risk in it, that last 5%.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Why 4 months between 100% and bid opening?
We gotta allow people to evaluate the RFP.
I mean, we're talking $150 million project, so the bid proposal firms are gonna need a lot of time to look at this. I mean, we're, you know, like I mentioned, we were at 2,200 pages of specs and 600 pages of drawings. They're gonna need a lot of time to.
And probably bidders conferences and that kind of thing.
There'll be all that.
Pre-construction conferences.
And the other thing is that there isn't a contractor out there that can build this whole plant. They're gonna have to get together a team of subs. That are, you know, you're an electrical subcontractor, you're gonna have, you know, the dirt work guys and just on and on and on. There's probably gonna be half a dozen or more subs. And the general right herd on all that, but they gotta put that team together and get each one of their subs to evaluate their piece of it and give them a bid, which then gets aggregated up. So the whole process you have to go through to bid a big installation is complex.
Is there anything like a pre-noticing process? Just curious, like, do the people that we imagine would be responding to this, do they already have kind of a heads up about we're proceeding?
I would say that some of the larger firms in Whatcom County might be a little bit in tune with things going on, but realistically, once it goes to bid, there will be bigger Seattle firms,
Yeah.
maybe even, you know,
Maybe national.
maybe national firms.
Yeah.
But I think that there's definitely some inkling of the local big firms like IMCO or maybe RAM.
And until they have drawings and bid specs, there's just not a lot they can do.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about, making sure that they are planning to, having the time available.
There's also the public bidding laws that are designed to, you know, not give anyone a competitive.
And that's another reason why you'd want more time, yeah, because you wanna make sure you get the word out. Thank you.
Of course. And so then this is our opinion of probable construction costs. You can see at the bottom line, we've got the OPCC low range of 128 million, the high range of 152 million, and the mid range of 140 million. And which has been in line and maybe even slightly below what we've always been on. We've always been at around 150 million has kind of been
I love that acronym.
the OPCC.
Opinion, probable.
Yeah.
We'll make an acronym out of darn near anything.
Yeah.
Who's all right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that acronym.
I'm terrified about costs, just with the way things
Oh,
are
yeah.
right now. I mean, I'm sure, yeah, everybody is, right? Yeah,
Where's it at right now?
yeah.
It's an opinion of problem.
Yeah, it's the OPCC.
Yeah. There's a reason.
Yes.
You know me.
Yeah.
Oh, no, now you're showing your age. for
Oh,
sure.
boy.
That was old school, sorry.
Everybody inside the organization that thinks about this,
I mean, it just, everything is so volatile right now, right? And we have to have it, no matter what. So
yeah, plant one's in bad shape.
equally terrifying. Yeah, I saw the face of some of our candidates from talking about it. Yeah.
It's in bad shape.
Yeah, okay. Deep breaths.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, thank you.
Yeah,
Should I move on from this
Yeah,
slide?
please,
or-
yeah.
Yes,
Gabe, yeah, thank you for giving me a second to
I'm
breathe.
just telling you how much I'm enjoying it so far.
okay, so then this is the, you know, the fun slide for me.
Catch your breath, yeah.
So permitting delays, I mean, that's one of our biggest concerns right now is we're really not as far as we would like to be in permitting, but there's something that you just have to churn through. There's no shortcuts, there's no secret handshakes, it's just, you just gotta
Are we sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
If you know of any, we would love to know.
I'll research.
Okay, thanks. And then, so then. The next two kind of go together, FEMA floodplain, Nooksack River levee. As you may be aware, there's been talk of the Army Corps doing a lot of work on the levee between the Main Street Bridge downstream to a little bit past our intake building. My understanding, we actually have a meeting, I think tomorrow, with the kind of the levee engineers, but my understanding is they're changing what was initially decided as the plan. So I think, so we don't have any update, because I think the plan's changed and we haven't received any of that data, so we don't know how that's going to necessarily affect us as yet.
Awesome.
Or even if.
Good point, hopefully it's not, but that's Reichard and Navy is a company that's, I believe, is out of Whatcom County, that they're the lead on that, and we have a meeting with them. Very soon, like I said, maybe tomorrow, but, about kind of getting an update with those guys and what's going on with that part. Secret review, that's just, again, one of those things you just have to work through. Then there's the codes portion, like I said, there's the city to deal with, the county, all kinds of levels, the core, you know, we are right near a river, so there's that whole portion of things. Potential inconsistencies in the specifications. Yeah, I've already mentioned it, but 2,200 pages. I mean, that's a lot of cross-referencing the things. As well as outside of the specs to cross-referencing to the drawings. So there, you know, there's lots of that to think about. And then, just cost inflation. You know, if we run into delays, and we've seen just costs go up over the last six years for everything pretty rapidly, so that's something to consider.
We have no commitments to any vendors at this point, right?
Well, other than Consor,
Just the engineer.
yeah.
Why I'm asking is sometimes in a project, this thing delays this thing, and then delaying the vendor affects their cost schedule. Just wondering about that, and there's nothing like that yet. Obviously, when things are in full construction, that kind of thing is possible, but we're not there yet.
No, we're not quite that far down the path.
And that's why we want to clear up all the issues and concerns up front,
Mhm.
so that nothing like that can happen.
Yeah, plan hard, build easy.
Mhm.
That's the secret.
Any questions if you have any?
I yammered throughout the whole thing, so.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. I'm really just, I see what you said, Chris, in the work. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, staff is amazing on this one. We're not perfect, but it's a big project and there's really just right now, it's you guys looking at it. And, well, Joe, I guess three.
Well, yeah, but then, right, we've got,
Well, you got that.
we've got the water, electric and IT, OT all going through the plans. Kind of focusing on their craft to look for any potential problems.
When I've done projects like this, I have gone to outside resources for a design review.
Actually, that's something that.
I was just waiting.
That's something that we actually are engaging currently. We have had someone look at, done kind of a, I won't say quick, but a kind of a base level review, and we're working on bringing in an outside firm to kind of almost be our secondary staff to assist with that. That's kind of our next steps, because it is so big, and like Chris just mentioned, our team isn't huge, and so we're working on bringing in additional support.
Yeah, just somebody who's gonna ask questions that you wouldn't,
Necessary.
sometimes they actually are dumb questions, but you need someone who's gonna have a probability of dumb question. That's a new acronym. PODQ. That you
Right.
can manage, you know, because they once in a while will ask a smart question, like maybe a commissioner might do the same thing.
Well, so we are engaging with some outside support,
We
You
can't
guys
just,
are looking at an owner's engineer as
as
well.
owners rep as well.
Great.
can't
Thank
just
you,
run
Ryan.
it through chat GPT and see what
We
the,
could.
see what the issues are.
Just queries are now a public record, just being
Of
clear.
course.
Yeah, right.
Well, I guess if I may ask some dumb questions.
Yeah.
So 90% design, that's like, are we sufficient to move through development permitting? Like how much of the
Yeah.
last 10% is really relevant to?
Well, that's where
10%.
looking to really get into that permitting portion. That's
Yeah.
what we need. That's where we need to really focus on at this point,
Yeah,
is pushing through that.
So the permitting is actually part of 90% design,
Part
early
of it.
permitting.
yeah, okay,
It's in there kind of.
included, yeah. I'm just trying to understand better what's in the remaining 10%.
There's no dumb questions, just dumb people.
Wow.
That's a
Like-
great.
Well, see, that's the thing, like,
So-
one way to look at it is it's 90% like plans and spec design, but that's why we're hesitant to call it that ourselves, because a lot of the permitting isn't where it needs to be for it to be a full 90%.
And it's possible that you can find something in permitting that causes you to change, some of the design.
Right, you have to, right,
And
yeah,
so you end up iterating and going back a little bit,
Right.
right.
which takes time.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's all in process, and,
And the permitting is done by, it's done by a sub-consultant to engineer,
Right.
to consort the engineer. Like they have a sub that's their focus.
right,
That's why they've been hired.
I mean, permitting can really delay our project, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanna say, I was just thinking of, yeah, I used to work on the docks in Blaine and they were falling apart. And we were constantly complaining to the Port of Bellingham about the dock falling apart, and then they dragged their feet for a really long time, and then they told us that, oh, well, now permitting will take 2 years. So
Yeah.
I guess there's nothing that you can do about it, right? Like you just,
Worry a lot.
yeah. Secret
Which is why the timeline they gave us is
Yeah,
their proposed timeline.
yeah, so we have to research the secret.
well, I mean, I could anticipate what some of the hurdles are gonna be, right, like, we need a shoreline substantial development permit,
Mhm.
right? That's key, I mean, even though, you know, this is replacing our existing plant, it's a new facility, right, so there's all the impacts to the river and adjacent uses and everything, right, so I understand there's just there's so much to go through, and I'm sure, yeah, our consultants and staff are doing a great job in thinking through all of it, and you feel like the timeline as laid out, this is I know there's
I feel like
uncertainty.
it's a positive timeline positive thinking timeline at this point.
Okay.
I don't
So
think,
hopefully we meet timeline.
we're not,
Yeah.
Look at Lisa's face when she's like, yep, yep.
We think it's an optimistic plan.
I'm being supportive. It's not your timeline.
Yes,
And your reasonable timeline is that this is,
as best we can get
this is a
together,
very,
Yeah.
very optimistic timeline.
yes.
Okay,
I mean, we're in it for whatever it turns out to be, right?
Yeah.
We're committed to moving it forward, knowing that some of these things are out of our hands.
correct.
Thanks, Kurt.
Sure.
Yeah, really, thanks for the update.
Any other questions?
Oh,
when should we expect a significant update or report?
We were talking about this yesterday, we're thinking maybe probably around mid-June.
Okay.
Would be
Okay.
a time for, like, we have enough, responses and enough kind of churn through this to bring some back.
depending on the timeline,
Well,
which is
just,
optimistic.
well, just telling you what,
Well, you can change.
Yeah.
what that
Yeah.
change, whatever change, but I think about June, have, a change in data to.
Cause you'll then have the outside input, right?
And our discussion was that, this is far enough along and moving fast enough that it's probably appropriate to have an update about every quarter or so. But I mean, be aware, there may be a time where, you're expecting an update in September and there's just everything's just churning.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving pieces and, well, we appreciate it, very helpful.
Good.
And, I think we're moving on a good time track here, so let's move to old business. I think I wanna save broadband update for last,
You mean after the executive session or?
no, just as far as last in our old business. And start with the easy one, adjudication.
That's real easy, cause that is an executive session.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so no
no
adjudication.
No update for now, all right,
Big
Geo-
news, a year extension.
yeah,
Yeah.
we discussed that
We did
last
last
meeting,
meeting,
yeah, that was big news for sure, okay, geothermal,
Jump in?
Go ahead, sure.
So, in a sense, we don't have a lot of news. We're still waiting on the results to get the parcels auctioned. There seems to be quite a bit of community buzz around the project, which is really nice, and when we saw that at the ecology thing. About 2 weeks ago, Department of Energy dropped a notice of funding opportunity, or as we call it, a NOFO. And the NOFO, for me, it was a surprise. I didn't know this was coming. And what it was for, well, part of the NOFO was for exploratory enhanced geothermal well drilling. So, you know, they're contemplating $4 to $8 million per well. That's right, kind of where we need it to be. Part of the problem is you need to have control of the land. Now we're back to that auction thing. So we're trying to figure out, you know, what are the odds of succeeding if we don't have absolute control of the land. We're putting in a letter of intent, which is just notifying Department of Energy that we're gonna apply for the thing. And that's due next Friday or this Friday? The yellow line.
I believe it's next.
No.
No, this week, yeah.
It's, yeah, but it's ready, and it's really brief. It's just, you know, we intend to submit. It's the Nooksack in the lead. We're in there with them. Hero yesterday agreed that they wanted in. We don't have at this point a driller, is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. So we've got, you know, the preliminary team has started to be lined up, and I gotta say, I had to leave the call a little bit early yesterday, but the feedback I got from Andrew was, you know, when we're talking about we don't have control, is this thing competitive? Andrew asked him, well, you know, what would distinguish this from all of the other projects that Hero is being asked to partner on around the country? And apparently, Sue Petty and the other Hero employee, Jill, yeah, they just got really excited. This, in their mind, I think, is the hottest prospect in the nation.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, so they're like, they want in.
Hot,
That's-
not to confuse with temperature.
That's,
Yeah,
well, no, actually, both are true. I think that's why they're so excited.
how hard is it to find a driller?
I'm on a
It's
roll.
really specialized,
It's very
right?
specialized. There's Fervo, there's the folks down at Mazama, that is Quays.
Quay, well, and Quay is the lead guy is on Heroes board,
So,
Oh,
so they were part of our.
they were part of that thing at
Yeah.
at
So
the
they could
track, yeah.
potentially be at least listed as a key partner on the
Yeah.
mine obligation.
and Quays gets around the drill head degradation problem by using microwaves instead of a physical drill head. So they go ahead and, you know, it's a phaser, you
Yeah,
know, beam me up, Scotty.
yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Would it be beneficial to share our letter of intent with our federal delegation? Just so they know that we're moving. And maybe to further encourage action from support of our lobbyists as well as our federal delegation. Just something to consider.
Yeah, well, let me throw it back to you guys, because this is where, you know, I'll say I've got a blind spot, and maybe Lisa has some other insight. I think on the one hand, it couldn't hurt, just, you know, let our folks know. I'm not sure we want to ask them to do anything, because, you know, blue state representatives going in Department of Energy right now, when in fact Department of Energy is doing something that I didn't suspect they would do in this administration. It's very, very positive.
Sure, with Bonneville and all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, well, and just this, you know, I would not have thought they would be as supportive of geothermal exploration as they are. You know, it's not just another drill baby drill, it's really all of the above. It's, you know, a really nice approach, frankly. Peter?
May I ask a question? Just so, and tell me this is better offline, but I mean, you're talking about a driller on the team. How does that line up with, like, is that part of the NOFO or just part of the project? And then I wonder about how does that work with like public works and and that being a publicly bid project?
Well, so all good questions. That's not good.
That's not it, right?
When you apply for one of these grants, you have to demonstrate the team that's gonna be building it, so that they have some assurance that they grant the money, that it will actually happen. I'm sure at that point, you've gotta go out with some kind of competitive package,
Okay,
but I'm not, you know, we're not anywhere near that.
okay.
The application itself is due end of April sometime,
Yeah.
late April.
Yes.
And then they said a long time, it was, gosh, 8 to 18 months to evaluate the proposals, yeah. And then they had a construction window, which I think was either 2 or 3 years after that. This kind of project, if you can get the permits for the work relatively quickly, which you probably can, because they've been permitted before relatively quickly. That, you know, you're looking at a year for permitting, a year for the drilling and all the test stuff, and then a year to decommission the test well. And it's about right.
I tuned out because of a lot of crack from the lightning out there.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can't control the weather yet.
Do you have a
Right.
clarifying question?
No.
She's like, no, I would like to know what happened outside.
Yeah, that's why
I'm thinking about getting under the table. Anyone else?
I sure we got hit somewhere around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't sound too close.
pretty close to me.
Um,
She's going home and check on her.
so is it, which,
So I mean, I just was, these things I'm bringing up. Just for discussion's sake, just to make sure we're considering everything, you know, obviously we need leases. And when this train is leaving the building and it implies that other things need to line up, you know, it might be helpful to communicate to certain people that would be supportive, so.
so which agency does this grant go through?
We call it, right?
Energy.
Oh, wait,
US Department of Energy, yeah, and it would just be for the exploratory drilling, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, so you think like the span of time, right, would align with when we could realistically do the project,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, unless we get some crazy outcome. Now, it's all on federal land, so that you don't have a state process to go through.
Right,
So that's, you know, that makes the permitting one layer simpler.
so if we can get to, you know, to drilling the test holes by 2030, you know, then we'd be in good shape, right? And it seems like, yeah, it's worth a shot, right? Not having control of the land makes us a little less competitive, right? But might as well go for it. So
That's what we're doing.
do you have everything you need to move forward with an application?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or with the,
I don't know, we're probably gonna need, of course, letters of support from, you know, community, from the tribes, from, you know, that kind of stuff. But,
yeah, okay, right, okay, so after we put our, you know, we start with our notice of intent here and then and then we have how long until the like
About a month.
just a month, okay, what, end of April? So is that something commissioners could help with as far as getting you know, those additional letters of?
We'll let you know. We went through and got all those letters before when we did the state grant. So it's the same list of folks, you know, we're gonna go back and
yeah,
ask Representative
probably-
Sharon Schumake before her offices.
Yeah, right,
And all that stuff.
we got a good list already.
Yeah, we've done it before.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, this would be great, you know,
Yeah, just fingers
this
crossed.
could,
I mean, we're gonna keep taking these shots and, you know, one of them's gonna land, and we move forward and then we take a bunch more shots. That's how this works.
okay.
Exciting.
Wonderful. Let's move to new customer update.
The only news outside of action item number 1 is that we did get the letter of agreement signed with AltaGas, so I don't remember, about a week ago.
Last week.
Yeah. So that came back. It took
after our
us-
approval, it went back to Caltech.
Yeah, it had to go through their whole legal staff and all that, and they made it through in 7 days, which was kind of nice. They obviously prepped the whole thing. Everybody agreed, signed off, unchanged, and here we are.
Very good. And right, we'll be discussing the work order with Toth as an action item under new business. In that case, let's hear the broadband update.
So I did send a note to you folks yesterday. We found out late Friday that the kind of Hail Mary that we were trying for, which was we know we can't do the Puget Sound Energy, their offer was to allow us on their anchors, but. You know, it was conditioned on, we had to study each one of those, and it would take about 5 months and cost $500,000 just to do the studies. And so that wouldn't work. So the question we had back both to Commerce and from there to Treasury and to our engineers was, can we just start running fiber out? And, you know, is there some point where we can stop, where we don't need any ground disturbing activity, and we can have a whole bunch of passes and a whole bunch of people on, you know, however many that is, kind of a best efforts. And so, and we turned our engineers loose, they were looking at it late Friday, well, before noon on Friday, I guess, they got back to us, and the answer was, there's just nothing that they can do. No matter where you stop, you're gonna need a down guy, and you're gonna have ground disturbing activity, and you know, I was hoping that there'd be a really stout double dead end where you could slack span off to it. I mean, there's some engineering and construction things you can do to lessen the need for an anchor, but there's just nothing you can do. So the answer came back that won't work. And that really was our kind of last attempt. So that I'll stop at. Yeah, in my view, the project's over at this point. There's a possibility, incredibly remote, that we would go back to the Lummi and ask them to tell DAP that they've dropped all their concerns. Doesn't need a permit, you guys go. And then we go back more or less to the original design. But you know, the odds of that, I would say, are vanishingly small. And we would need an answer probably in the next 1 to 2 weeks in order to start ordering material and getting the construction lined up so that we're complete by the end of December.
So,
Yeah, I'd like to have a working special meeting on this. Before we, you know, pull the plug in the next week or so, you know, an hour or so. We got full agendas today.
We do have a full agenda.
We can do it by Zoom, working meeting.
Yeah, I think we can probably all state, because it's been brought up, what our immediate reactions are and then get into it, don't you think? I don't wanna just ignore it.
Yeah,
You know,
we-
that we said anything.
we have time, we're well on track here to get to executive session by 9:30, so I agree that we shouldn't make any final decisions today, and we're gonna need to devote a significant amount of time. Cause that would be, yeah, that's a major decision, so, and if, you know, if the decision was, we're giving up, then it's okay to put that off, probably, for 3 weeks, till our next meeting, and do it, you know, still explore whatever remote possibilities might still exist, so if I could just hear a little more about what those possible pathways would be, if you could clarify. I'd like to hear from Andrew too, if you're willing to share.
Um,
To resuscitate.
Like, could we, so say if we went forward with PSC doing the study and doing full archaeological supervision to get the anchors installed and everything, it's just simply not possible to do that in the time frame.
not only that, but we're also, because it's federal dollars that we're working with, we want to be very careful with how if we choose to spend those dollars, because if we do move forward with this and we do the study from PSC, and let's say it's 5 months down the road, and what happens if we then time out, we will have spent a significant chunk of that federal dollars and perhaps not have a completed project.
And then not be able to reimburse.
Correct.
Yeah, it's reimbursement.
So we can get into the specifics if you'd like, but there are a lot of variables that we've kind of tried to talk through, you know, some of these recent meetings to kind of pinpoint where a lot of these issues are coming from. But what we're talking about right now is kind of the last ditch effort was to see if we can utilize those existing anchors, and we were actually all set up. As you know, we had the IRU all queued up with the private ISP. We had PSC working on our behalf, putting us into the top of the queue to review this, and everything was really starting to come together. But this was the kind of last effort to see if we can get anything done. And unfortunately, by the news with the engineer, there's really no way that Chris and I can think of, or our engineers can think of, to move this forward in a productive or positive way without spending additional dollars that we may or may not have a completed project at the end, which it's in itself a concern right there.
Right.
Well, what happens with money that's returned? Or not spent, essentially, it's not really returned, the money that's not spent, what happens to that money?
Other than just going back to the treasury, I don't know where it would go from there.
It's
I
not
can
like,
speculate based on what this broadband office thinks that will happen to those dollars that aren't spent. But nothing's in writing and nothing's confirmed. So-
yeah, I'd love to know, oh, if it's anything like non-deployment funds. It's not like that, for sure, or,
So if we move forward, let's say this project is,
cause it's not under B, it's a different program.
this is ARPA dollars funded, yes,
Yeah.
so this is not part of B, although you do bring up a good point, if we think about potential future possibilities on the point, and that could lead to possible non-deployment dollars under B that could be allocated for improvement out on the point. So there's still light in that sense. I could see maybe an additional funding round for something with these unused ARPA dollars, maybe, but it would be a completely different round and would be completely outside and separate from
B,
B or from the current ARPA fund. It'd be something completely entirely different.
so, I think what Chris and staff in general are saying is that there's not just one kind of breakthrough necessary to put the project back on track. It's multiple breakthroughs have to occur simultaneously to put the project back on track, is what they're saying. Am I right in saying that?
Yep.
This project's not happening. That's what I'm getting, is there is no path forward.
Oh, well, you know, I just said that we need multiple breakthroughs. I think that happens.
Yeah, I just don't that, like, I don't think it's feasible that in the time that we have, that there's any, and I think it's, so personally, I think it's time that we engage the public in a conversation about about what we've been through to like have this funding made available and then have all of these roadblocks and how, you know, the people at the point are suffering. I think there's a story there that should be told, but I also think that like, it's okay for us to say that we've done everything that we can. And broadband may not be the solution for the people of Point Roberts. There are other technologies available and we can advocate for that for them, I think. But like broadband, there's going to be ground disturbing issues there, and that's okay, right? I don't want to put anybody in a position, like, I don't want to go to the tribe and be like, could you just maybe push this through? And especially after hearing that, you know, they found, you know, bones under sidewalks that recently, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that that's fair or good. So it's time to explore technologies.
Broader dialogue first.
Yeah,
You're saying to go back to a more basic level.
yeah, this isn't happening. And I mean, gosh, we have asked, I mean, as a commission, and then, you know, even from the top, that we have asked our team to become tiny little acrobats trying to like, you know, fit into this
Yeah, I'm not asking for a
funding,
long,
yeah.
special meeting, but there is some, homework that I need to do that kind of I put off till this situation. So I'd like to be able to do that, and I'd like to be able to, and that our meeting may be only 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But,
Not that you're tiny.
I'd like to put something on the calendar. You know,
Make
so
a
that,
suggestion that we talk about this Friday.
sure,
Oh, like a special meeting this Friday?
Yeah, and so here's the reason. Andrew and I spend a lot of time on this, Andrew far more than me, but we spend a lot of time on it. Our engineers have spent an enormous amount of time on it, and they've been really good about not hitting us with change orders and, but I think even Cobb Fenley's, you know, patience is kind of at an end.
yeah.
We've got commerce spun up. They're right now trying to get a special meeting set up with Treasury to see if our best efforts, which we found out fell through on Friday, would likely succeed, you know, and be acceptable to Treasury. Puget Sound Energy is standing by, waiting to nuke their queue and put this work in front. And even though it would still take 5 months, it's, you know, they're really looking at moving that up. Otherwise, it's 2 years before they can get engineering. So they're that backlogged right now. So they've been moving heaven and earth to try and help us out. And then, we've got Whidbey and Whidbey is, you know, they're ready to order material and they've got construction people ready for the summer, and they're gonna have to put them someplace else, which they don't have a problem doing, but then you can't get them back. So all of this stuff is hanging fire right now. People are spending time and money and attention on our behalf, and I don't think we should string this out any longer.
I totally agree.
That's why I would recommend Friday.
I have bad news about Friday.
Or Thursday,
So.
or Wednesday.
Bad news about schedules this week, yeah.
Yeah, this week is Saturday.
On Monday.
I could do Saturday.
The other thing is that all you need is one of these partners to say, okay, I'm done. It's not our call anymore. And I expect that's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I mean, I can do a short meeting on Friday, but not till after probably 3:30.
3:30 to 4:30 is fine, and we may not even use the full hour. I'm not pretending to think that that any of some miracle is gonna happen to enable subsequent. It's a, let's call it cascading miracles. I'm not pretending that that's gonna happen. This is an important project to us. I feel like, it's worth, one last conversation on it. It's new information yesterday, and I don't wanna do it in person. I'd rather do it Zoom only.
At 3:30 on Friday?
Yeah,
I can do 3:30 on Friday. Can you do 3:30 on Friday?
Yes,
Or-
yes, I'm okay with that. You know, I think it is something
I don't feel ready to finish it off today. Basically, that's what I'm trying to.
I don't either, I think I mean. It would seem like, before calling it off, some final doubling back engagement with Lummi Nation.
Yeah.
Would be the way to go.
I will do so.
And then that might be something, that would seem like something that would fall on commissioners at this point.
Yeah,
Just to,
yeah,
I mean, cause it's one of those things where it's still, until you go through all of the, you know, all of the gritty details, it would still seem like, okay, you know, they get the study done in 5 months and then we get to doing it, as long as we have, you know, an approved archaeological plan and supervision and get everyone on site and do the project.
Well,
And
what DAP had requested was where you have one of these crown disturbing activities, that you first have to do a 500-foot survey or excavation or whatever the heck they called it, but so you need a permit from DAP to do that survey. The results of that survey then have to come back to DAP, and then at that point, they evaluate the survey and determine whether or not they're gonna give you a permit to do the actual work and under what conditions. So you look 5 months out, and Puget's gonna discover that of these 170, if I remember, anchors, you know, they're gonna need to replace 40 of the poles and 40 or 50 of the anchors. Each one of those is gonna have to go through that DAP permitting. Now, they can all proceed parallel, but you're gonna have to have, you know, 50 archaeologists out there if you do that, and
and
then-
easements on private property to. do the
right,
survey.
and so, you know, 5 months from now, you know, you're really already in September. And just the permitting from DAP to do the surveys and doing the surveys probably take 3 or 4 months here at the end of the year.
and we have till December.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but if there's a way to get that
December
going
what?
concurrently
What's
with
what's the last?
the PSC study.
December 26th.
But that's also, you know, and to adding to what Chris said, that's also no guarantee that even if we went through that study with PSC, there's no guarantee we can utilize all those anchors anyway. Which would significantly change, even half, only being allowed to anchor to half of them would significantly change fundamentally the design of the network. Because you can't move them around.
Or if there was a significant archaeological find near one of these poles, that could just sink a project entirely, which it sounds like.
We'd have to lock that section off.
Yeah, but it sounds like that could be a high probability of that happening.
The two other would be till federally funded projects are currently on hold for similar reasons.
For
From many years ago.
So now-
Yeah, but we need that, but the 500-foot radius survey, that we would have to also do that if we somehow went back to the original plan,
Well,
right?
no, what we would ask is to waive that, and for us just to have an incidental discovery plan, which is what we originally proposed for all of the areas that we
Yeah.
were gonna go. And we were gonna stay out of the the known archaeologically sensitive, the one down on the flat there.
Yes.
That one,
Maple Beach.
Maple Beach. Where we knew there was a problem, so that was where we went originally, and, that's where DAP came back, feedback from the tribe, no. Here's what we want instead, and that's when that caused us to go, okay, well, let's see if we can re-engineer this thing, so there isn't any ground disturbing. Which was what led us to Puget, which was what led us to the best efforts, which led us to last Friday.
So realistically is the expiring timeline. We could probably get a project go if we had more time, but we don't.
Yeah, right, because.
We
of
don't
the-
have more time.
We need a couple more years, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah, unless there was approval for an incidental discovery plan and not having to do the additional surveys, right? In any case, I understand, Point Roberts, it's a very important place. I mean, there's evidence of continuous human habitation there for over 9,000 years. And, it's, we could anticipate going in that there was gonna be challenges around doing any ground disturbance. And I guess it would be our hope that in doing this project right, and with, a good planning and good supervision, and good communication with the tribe, that we'd be able to, actually, gain knowledge and insight that would be valuable and welcome, right? If there's not a way to do that, then, and not a way to do that in this time frame, then that's just, that's what it is, but, it would seem like at least, I think it may not be like, it seems like, through the bureaucratic process and, just the nature of a close, a consultation process and all that, the decision makers may not, they're not intentionally killing this project, and they're not, it's not with the sense of, oh, this is going to delay your thing past the deadline to where you can fund it. And, if that's, yeah, these may be insurmountable barriers, but I guess I'd like to make one last attempt.
I agree.
just see if there could be a way to do it.
Well,
let's talk about it Friday at 3:30.
Right, and I have one last request for that meeting, Andrew, you and Chris and the team has sent me over the years lots of very helpful information. I'm not sure Eddie's gotten all of that. And so if you could just not do any new work, but just compile the background or information on this project into one email to the commission, just in prep for that meeting. In the next, if it's okay, in the next day or so, just stuff you've already, it's mostly all stuff you've already sent in the past. It's just, so we all have it fresh in our inbox, so appreciate that.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on the road the next couple of days, so that's
Okay.
why I'm,
It's like,
this is really being loaded on to Andrew.
And
Who, as a reminder, we'll be putting in our letter of intent for geothermal and.
Yeah,
and our
all of the
geothermal
things.
Application process and.
Well, if you can get it. to
And
us, that-
I also wanna say is that, we are expressing obviously disappointment. But I also want to make clear, we're not alone in this, our whole team is disappointed, and you all have demonstrated the highest degree of fortitude
Yeah, we
on this.
really want this to work.
Yeah,
I think that's true of everybody in this room and everybody that's on our team. And it's been 4.5 years of hell.
And there's nothing about our efforts for doing the meeting on Friday should be, you should see that anyway, like any disappointment with anything our team has done. It's not at all that, certainly don't feel that way. So appreciate all the efforts, and sometimes you try and you don't get there.
But we're gonna tell that story.
Yes, I do want to tell that story, yeah.
Okay.
Do we want to move on to new business?
Yep.
New business, starting with action one, approval of work order with Toth Engineering for the new Cherry Point substation.
Hey, Commissioners, so as we discussed at the last meeting, we were gonna need to bring a work order from Phil for this engineering work, and as Chris just mentioned, we have a signed letter agreement in hand, and so this is the request to do the have Phil do the engineering of the Cherry Point 1 substation. And start really getting into the work on this project. You can really let them loose at this point with your guys' approval.
Let them loose.
And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So this is, this amount is in addition, to our previous work order for the
That was.
transmission, correct?
Yes.
And these are the figures that were, included in the, agreement for payment with Petrogas, yeah.
Other the total engineering and construction for the substation, yes.
Yeah, so engineering is about a quarter of the whole thing. Yeah, it all seems pretty straightforward. Any?
Just to clarify, in our last meeting, I don't think we approved a specific, but I mean, this is the actual work order. That
For the-
last meeting, we approved the work, the agreement to work with.
Reimbursement.
Yeah.
Reimbursement agreement, yeah.
So there was no numbers, and this agreement has the numbers in.
Well, this is this is for engineers. I think this number was referenced in the agreement that we signed with
This
Altigas.
is the actual approval of that,
Mhm.
of that work. This agreement is.
Yeah, and so
Engineering.
for the engineering, yeah. And so with this, we'll be going ahead, yeah.
Yes.
Moving forward.
This will be the last step to really get into, like I said, engineering and move towards part of that position.
Yeah, I was still hoping to see an updated timeline from Toth, but I understand that they would provide that after we,
Right.
tell them, we say we're gonna pay them to do more work, right? So,
Right, they've been holding off.
right.
Well, part of it is lead times on a lot of this stuff fluctuates. So if you ask them 1 week, you can get one answer. You ask them another week, you get another answer.
Well, sure, I just meant as an update from the one they provided in December as a, the anticipated time.
Yeah, and you raised some valid.
Project management step number 1 is Phil will provide a project schedule for engineering and construction as major for the lead times.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Great.
Well, I will move to approve the work order with Toth Engineering for the new Cherry Point substation.
Yeah, go ahead and second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
All right,
motion approved.
Great, thanks, Commissioners.
Stephanie.
Stephanie?
Morning, we have resolution 895 next on the agenda. It was just a warrant for American Emergency. We had to cancel our CPR first aid training and we had to reschedule it.
yeah, I remember that.
Oh, okay.
I move to approve resolution number 895, authorizing the cancellation of warrant number 01273518.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
All right,
Thank you.
approved. Resolution number 895. Next, we have resolution number 896.
896, and that's for the closing out of the fiber, the SCADA fiber repair work that we did with sound drilling. That work's all been completed. And this is just the process of closing out that emergency request.
And I
yeah,
would
please,
just-
yeah,
I would just add that
I was gonna ask.
that in addition to that, implicitly, this is the commission's determination that it meets the definition of emergency as you see it.
Right.
the second page of the resolution. I don't know, maybe it says that here, but, which part? Well, so I, closing it out, I think implicitly you kind of want an affirmative determination by the commission that acknowledges that this was an emergency. And I don't know if that's implicit in this, I don't know if that says that in this resolution.
I think we did notify the commission in our last meeting that this was an emergency and that we were proceeding. And at least by head nod, they said, okay, everybody gets it when your skate is down, it's an emergency.
Yeah, no doubt
The
about
be it
it.
resolved says that the district hereby deems the emergency closed following payment to Sandro. So is that our practice? I
So-
should know this, I really should know this, but, whenever we declare an emergency, the commission does participate in the closing of the emergency, is that
So,
common practice?
I
Not
don't,
always.
No,
yeah, so by state law, whenever you waive public bidding. According to statute for public works projects, either a declaration has to be declared either as delegated to. Someone at the executive level or by the commission. I haven't seen your delegation of authority, there's probably. Something along those lines, but in most of the organizations that I've worked for, within 2 weeks after the contract is signed. The governing body should essentially ratify the emergency. And that's what I'm getting at. This is an explicit determination by the commission, not only that it's being closed, but that it was an emergency.
Oh, but I mean, we did discuss
They
the
did do
emergency
that.
prior at our last meeting.
Yeah,
Can I make a suggestion to
yeah.
address that? So in the be it resolved, we could just, the district hereby acknowledges and deems the emergency closed following payment to Sandro. Is that okay with everybody?
It's okay with me, but I'm curious, in the future, should we have taken a vote? To
Well,
approve the
sometimes-
emergency?
Sometimes the general manager will declare an emergency in anticipation of a major expenditure.
Yeah, when something needs to happen,
And
right?
that doesn't always happen. So, it could very well be that at the end of this, the actual repairs were, trivial, $1,000.
Yeah.
Where it would have been within my authority without ever bringing it to you guys to
Right.
just offer this.
Mhm.
So in a case like that, you might not have the emergency formally closed by the commission. That's kind of the question Peter was asking.
God forbid, but if there was a $10 million emergency, you'd call an emergency special meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And then we would.
Yeah, in
Commission
fact,
approve the emergency.
typically in fragile ice, we declare an emergency just because all the overtime we're gonna spend.
Right.
If it's not in our normal budget.
So here's the statute, if a contract is awarded without competitive bidding due to an emergency, a written finding of the existence of an emergency must be made by the governing body or its designee and duly entered of record no later than 2 weeks following the award of the contract. And that's why, and maybe there's a delegation and you've already made a written finding. Maybe the minutes reflected from the last meeting, I don't know, I just like to, have it. as
Yeah.
Part of a resolution, if ideally.
So is that okay? Or that,
This doesn't hurt at all.
so,
So let's restate the amendment, please.
yeah, well, has anybody made a motion for?
No.
Okay, so, can I just include it in my motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve resolution 896 with one modification. And that one modification is under the now therefore be it resolved. To add hereby, after the word hereby, acknowledges and, I want to insert the words acknowledges and deems the emergency closed following payment to Sandro. That's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Acknowledges and deems. Okay, all in favor of the motion? Aye.
Aye,
Resolution number 896 is approved with the,
as amended.
yeah.
I guess it wasn't
as-
actually amended.
You're amending.
Yeah, approved as amended.
Yeah, I did say amended, okay, yeah.
So I would just suggest that, you guys, sign off on the resolution and then we will rewrite the whereas or where the clause was and just substitute that in.
Okay.
So we'll have to bring it back
Yes,
next time.
Joseph,
Yeah.
yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Or
it was,
I can hand mark it too.
It wasn't, the amendment was in in the resolved statement, not in the recitals, so it's,
Okay.
it's, that probably makes it substantive enough that we'd have to, sign it again, right?
Joseph has his hand up.
Well, what I'll do is when we sign it, I'll just make a write.
Just write it, oh yeah, just
I'll
write
write
it
it
on the
on the
copy and then
agenda.
just, yeah, so just do, yeah, okay. Did we already have, or is that gonna be brought to us at the end of the meeting, copy to sign?
Yeah.
Commissioners, if I may,
Yes,
because you've made that amendment, I will note that amendment in the minutes. And since that is what you have approved while you guys are in executive session, I will add that amended language to the resolution, reprint it for signature, so you will sign the amended resolution today before you leave.
great,
Okay, great.
thank you.
Thank you so much,
Well.
Joseph.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Joseph.
Joseph. All right,
Well, that concludes our,
Thanks, commissioners.
oh,
thank
Thank
you.
thank you, Kurt, yeah. That concludes new business. So next commissioner reports, we'll start with Jamie.
Yeah, nothing fun to report. I did attend most of the, Waputa board meeting, Tool was there.
I think everyone was on.
Were you on there also?
I listened in.
Yeah, I was trying to get, committee reports, see what was going on that week, cause I don't think any of us were able to attend our committees, because of our meeting on Thursday, but,
I did let Liz know
oh, okay,
what
good.
was going on, and she was like, we would have missed you.
Yeah.
And so I would have asked what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, she appreciated that, heads up.
Other than that, nothing to report.
Yeah, I also, well, I caught it was the, commissioner education on Wednesday and the, board of directors meeting on Friday morning. Didn't make any of the Thursday Waputa meetings, of course. But I gave a, regret, told everyone I'm sorry we couldn't be there. In the report out I heard on Friday, from Bonneville Power, it sounded, it was, pretty positive about the water situation and the outlet going in, overall, so,
It may be one of those interesting years where, hydro is doing okay, but the watersheds are not. If you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
So, even in Eastern Washington, I'm hearing that, that there's low water as it relates to, agriculture and other uses. So, I'm not exactly sure I understand that
Well, a
situation.
lot of the Columbia headwaters are up in Canada.
Right, so maybe Canada's
The
helping us out.
snowpack up there is fine. They're 90%
Right.
plus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Canada.
So that's you're right, the watersheds down here are in trouble and the Columbia may still be okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
that'll
it's-
depend on what their spill criteria and everything else.
yeah,
is.
for sure.
yeah, I mean, there was, some discussion about that too. In any case, because we don't have so much time today, I'll just note that I'm gonna attend remotely an Energy Northwest meeting on Thursday to get updates on the new nuclear project. And today, after the meeting, I'm planning to attend county council. So at a special meeting they had last Tuesday,
On comp plan?
yeah, on the comp plan and specifically the utilities chapter. They set aside one council member amendment. I believe did preliminary approval of the rest of it. But one amendment they set aside for discussion today that pertained to encouraging and supporting development of renewable energy and the amendment was essentially listing and adding, enumerating more types of energy projects to that list, and then included fusion. And there was then kind of broke off into some discussion on county council about fusion and nuclear fission and the prospect of adding that to the list as well. So in any case, Councilmember Galloway asked if someone from PUD would come to the meeting and just, answer questions as they come up in their final discussion of that. And so I volunteered to do that. Chris, was hoping Chris could go to be, better fit to answer technical questions, but was unavailable, so I
I
offered
think
to do
because
that.
you're on Energy North, that's you, next person probably that should go in.
Yeah, and of course, I'll, just keep my remarks to, answering their questions as a matter of fact, and if they want an opinion, I'll make it clear that that's my own, and I'm not representing, an official position, because I don't believe we've ever taken like, an official general position on nuclear, if I recall. Yeah, that's just letting you know, and any flags there.
I mean, it's fair to say that our role at Energy North System means that we're not in opposition.
Mhm.
Right, but just that, it's, as a matter of, whether, whether as a matter of county policy to support that here.
BPA does this thing, notice of non-opposition.
Well, I also, I guess, a flag, it is an opportunity if they allow it, for us to provide any last input on, any areas of the utility chapter, since it's up, so if, you all had ideas about that, or, I don't know if you've taken a look at.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've been through it a couple of times and yeah, I mean, yeah, I've had multiple opportunities. First time was when it went to the Climate Impact Advisory Committee. And then a year ago, Kaylee asked me to go over it, and then she just sent it to me a few weeks ago, and I didn't have any changes, and I think I had incorporated, Chris's comments, and so, I was glad the way I got to contribute, because I was advising an advisory committee, so it didn't complicate, a PUD commissioner, you know what I'm saying, so there might have been minor things but I felt like it's in a good place, it's progress. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so as well, and I think, it's.
We gotta move it forward, guys.
Yeah.
Good point, all right,
We gotta see
And I haven't
people
done my
rolling their
report yet
eyes.
either.
Yeah.
please, your report.
Okay, I just wanna mention some points that came up in the board meeting that are coming along. First is another report, because now regarding transmission, we've got the West Tech report is out. There's a follow-up report on research.
The 10-year report is out,
Yeah,
so the 20-year report is not yet out.
yeah.
It should be out in the fall.
Then there's E3 is developing a resource adequacy report as well, that I'm not sure how it complements the Western report, but I assume it does. If you can elaborate on what the E3 report's going to do.
Well, so,
E3 is a consulting company that.
yeah, they're the ones who did the net metering study that Whatcom was part of, and others, but so the West Tech study looks at existing and proposed generation that you can reasonably expect to have materialized. And obviously, when you're looking at the 20-year one, it's pretty speculative, right? I mean, people who have not applied for interconnection. So that's what the West Tech report does, is it looks at the transmission system stability and capacity, given the likely array of generation and load that'll show up the next 10 years. Resource adequacy is something entirely different. That's where you have to bring enough generation to a market to supply your own load. So it's not just generation matching the load, but it's generation spinning reserves, frequency support, and all of that goes into resource adequacy. Right now, there is no resource adequacy study done for the Western interconnection, period. Just kind of nobody does it, and especially not long term.
Yeah.
And that is, so anyway, that's what the RA study.
Yeah, with the resource adequacy, you start with demand and work back to what you need to meet that projected demand.
That's roughly correct, yeah.
Oh, hey, that's good enough for me, Chris.
Yeah.
Or to have Chris say it's roughly correct, that's good enough for me.
Present.
Yeah. And there, you mentioned the water lookout, so, Scott's, from BP's assessment of water, assessment, reiterating that, I heard that same thing. A commissioner, asked a question about the West Tech study, that the piece that, was identified in the West Tech study that, appears. We could really, constructively work on Washington State is a north-south connection. That's, identified in the West Tech study. And I don't remember what the two terminuses that north-south connection were that were identified in the West Tech study that Bonneville doesn't have on their list of things to do. Do you know which connection that refers to?
I think so. I think that's the one that comes out of essentially Grand Coulee and runs down to the Portland area.
Yeah, okay,
It may run south of Portland,
yeah.
but, I think that's the one you're referring to. And
Yeah, okay, let's see. One more thing. There was a comment about the building improvements that are happening for the Waputa offices. Yeah, we're looking at about $500,000, in the ballpark of. And then on the, ongoing assault of the public works account, one of the pathways that I brought up in myself in a previous commissioner report, I'm delighted to see that the other commissioners and the staff at Waputa are starting to embrace too, it is a potential pathway for making the state bank being a state infrastructure bank. My hidden agenda that I obviously isn't hidden because I'm saying it in an open meeting is, I've always liked state bank ideas. So I would love to see state bank in any form. And if it's dedicated infrastructure, that's probably a great way to start that door. The last thing I have to say is that, I didn't track how, we talked about it early this year in the commission. I didn't track how the transmission bill was going along. And I believe in some form or another, the transmission authority did get approved, right? And I would love to, I can either on my own, but if either of you, if anybody
I
else.
don't, I bet you Eddie does that.
I wonder if Eddie, you or Chris have any reading on what got passed as far as transmission authority?
The building pass, it,
Oh, it's okay,
like, not, yeah, it didn't make it, there was.
That's what I thought I heard, but I
Yeah.
thought Alex said to me he did. I talked to him
I thought it
on
was,
Friday.
people were feeling positive about it. It was.
Did they-
Alex said.
Yeah,
something got passed.
oh, did it
Yeah.
get last minute revived somehow?
They hitched it onto some other Senate bill that was for something else.
And did it get passed with the $5 million?
I heard that it got passed and that was a surprise to me, cause like Eddie, I was pretty sure it was dead.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was as of,
So-
Beyond that, I really don't know.
would it be, maybe what I could do is, I could follow up with an email to Nicholas and just get him to report back to us how the transmission, what actually got passed.
yeah, let's,
And then we can-
next meeting, let's talk about it, I guess I missed something.
Yeah, me, I was surprised
on
too.
the- Yeah, cause. Okay,
So is it okay if I follow up with Nicholas and send him an email and report back on what I learned from that?
yeah, I mean, there's probably, it was probably all talked about and updated in the energy.
Yeah, we probably missed
That's
that.
I
how
think
we
we
missed
just
it.
didn't, we missed that, yeah.
I didn't hear
Okay.
about it in the committee reports either.
Okay,
Um,
that's all I have.
I think something, it wasn't it wasn't the whole thing, something.
Yeah,
something,
well, yeah,
yeah.
I just, I would be surprised if it got the budget allocation, but being as tight as the budget was this year.
Okay, well,
Gonna take a quick break and then reconvene at 9:30 in executive session.
Yeah, that'd be great, I need.
however, we haven't yet had public comment, so,
Oh,
or
yes.
second public comment, and if someone might want to speak to us, see, we've got a couple other guests have joined, so, yeah, if you would like to address us, please raise your hand through the function on Zoom. Anybody present, you may address the commission. I'll pause for a moment, in case I caught anyone off guard.
Including Todd.
And Todd, if you'd like to, it's another opportunity.
Todd's preparing, he's, yeah, almost ready. Okay.
Andrea, Brian, if you'd like to,
Oh, but it's-
Okay, well, yeah, why don't we, I'll close public comment and then, let's take a short break while we get the shuffle going and move into an executive session for discussion with. Oh, yeah, right, for, anticipated, well, wait, you think not 2 hours rather than 90 minutes?
No, 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 I'm just looking at the items,
Are you-
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm mumbling, sorry.
okay, executive session, so will be from 9:30 to approximately 11 AM for discussion with legal counsel pending or potential litigation and to evaluate qualifications of an applicant for public employment for the general manager position and to consider the selection of a site or the acquisition of real estate by lease or purchase.
If we get done early, we don't expect to get done early.
If there's any thought that you would be getting done before 11, it's better to, my opinion is it's better to announce, oh, we need more time than to have the public waiting or everyone waiting.
So maybe say at 10:30 and then we can extend it if needed.
That's,
Yeah.
it's a good call, but yeah.
Yeah, if that's okay, Chair, then you said we're going to make it 60 minutes and we'll extend it as needed.
I'm good with that. Okay, so we'll shoot for an hour and then extend as needed. But yeah, anticipating to at 10:30 resume the public meeting for our final agenda item, which is to publicly discuss our next steps in the general manager hiring process. I believe we are returning to our public meeting with our last item of business today, consideration of next steps in our general manager recruitment process. So after a really extensive process over these last few months, led by our exceptional recruitment consultant, Lainey Mykoff, we had a number of very qualified, very compelling candidates step forward, who we interviewed. And last Thursday in our special meeting, we're able to meet them both in person as well as, they were able to meet with panels of community members and with staff. And it was a really tough, it's a really tough decision for us because we know that they're both outstanding. And so coming to it now, to finally, we have to make our decision to move forward. I will entertain a motion.
Okay, well, I will move to designate Anthony Hardenbrook as the commission's first preferred candidate and Vanessa Barbarisi as the commission's second preferred candidate, and to authorize the PUD's legal counsel in coordination with the recruitment consultant to negotiate tentative employment terms with the preferred candidate, and if unable to reach tentative terms, to negotiate with the second preferred candidate and to bring back terms for consideration by the commission.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I think you said some really important points. We have two really exceptional candidates here. And we had the opportunity to discuss these candidates extensively, interview them, and we're just feeling really grateful we had such great choices. Feel grateful about all the contributions from the team as well as people from the community that made it possible to make this important and difficult decision. There's nothing more important that we do as a commission, and I'm glad to be able to do this.
Yeah, I would just, I can't express enough how difficult of a decision this was. And how impressed I am with the PUD's process, engaging stakeholders and staff. We had two amazing candidates. And I'm really grateful to Lainey Mykoff for bringing those to us.
Yeah, and I'll say it's, this is a tough one for me. And I do think both of them would do an outstanding job at leading our organization. And really, it was a pleasure to meet both of them. So I'd say it's it's a tough one, but I agree with what you've proposed. We'll offer it to. Tell me, as you're proposing, we haven't voted on this yet momentarily, but yeah, to offer to Tony Hardenbrook as our first choice and Vanessa Barbarisi as our second choice. So I will call the motion to question.
Okay, I'll vote in favor, aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Clarifying and restating that we are authorizing the PUD's legal counsel, Peter, in coordination with the recruitment consultant, Laney Mykoff, to negotiate tentative employment terms with the preferred candidate, and if unable to reach terms, to negotiate with the second preferred candidate, and then to bring back terms for our consideration. This is just to move us into the next step, but I do want to thank all involved, all of the esteemed members of the community who came out for the interview panel on Thursday, and as well as our staff that took the time, and everyone who applied and took the time to do a first round interview with us as well. Really just outstanding. I think this could not have gone better where we'd be in a situation where we have a tough choice between two great options. So I just want to congratulate both Tony and Vanessa and everybody involved in it.
All of us, yeah. Thanks to all, obviously, commission's efforts too.
All right.
Okay, is there any further things to discuss? Good of the order. Seeing none, it is 11 a.m. and we are adjourned.